Hello and welcome to this lesson. Today, I want us to look at resultant vectors. We are looking at resultant vectors. You need your book, you need your math set, you need your long rule, your pens, your pencils, your erasers, and everything so that you'll be able to follow along with this lesson. As I said, we are looking at resultant vectors. So the most common way of finding a resultant of vectors is using the triangular law. So we have the triangular law. And we also have the parallelogram law. So these are the two main laws we can use to find the resultant of vectors. When we say the resultant of vectors, it means that what we will get if we put two vectors together, the way we add numbers, like the resultant of 5 plus 3 will be equal to 8. So if I have vector A and I add it to vector B, what will be the resultant? So it simply means we are adding two vectors. So today let's start with the triangular law. How to use the triangular law. Now, the triangular law of vectors states that if two vectors are represented as two sides of a triangle taken in sequence, so if I have a vector AB, so this is vector AB, vector AB, and I have another vector BC, BC. So this is BC. Now to form a triangle, I need to join the third side. The third side now becomes the result or the resultant of the two vectors. Now take note that when you are drawing the vectors, the head of one will be the tail of the other one, or where one ends is where one will begin. So this one is going to this side, it ends here, then the other one will begin from there. The third side of the triangle is called the resultant. Now when you are drawing the resultant, so the resultant of AB and BC will be AC. So when you move from A to B, then from B to C, it simply means that we are moving from A to C. So the result of vector AB and vector BC is AC. So what is AC? AC is this AC. So normally we use two arrows to indicate the resultant vector. Now make sure that all the arrows will not move in one direction. For example, this is moving here, this is moving the same direction. The third one shouldn't also move like this. When that happens, it means the resultant is 0. So always make sure that the resultant vector is opposite to the direction of the individual vectors involved. In case you want to state the triangular law of vectors, the triangular law of vectors states that if two vectors are represented as two sides of a triangle taken in sequence, the third side represents the resultant vector in both magnitude and direction. So the triangular law can simply be used to find the resultant of two vectors. You can't do more than two vectors, but it can only be used to find the result of or the resultant of two vectors. Let's take a question on this. Examples. Number 1. If vector PQ, So whenever you're writing vector, you put the arrow on top. And if vector PQ is equal to negative 1, 3, and RQ is equal to negative 5, negative 8, find vector PR. Find vector PR. Okay, so my solution. I first have to draw. So I have PQ, so I'll draw a triangle. So there's my triangle. Then I draw the other side of the triangle. So I have, this is PQ. So vector P, vector Q. And I have the arrow on it. Then I have QR. QR. So the QR will be this. Then I join with the third side. The third side. So the arrow will be here, as we explained earlier. The resultant, which is PR, will be given by PQ plus QR. PR will be given by, so you have PR, so you start from PQ, then the next one should also start from Q, so QR, like this. When you use a diagram, it's from PQ. If I'm looking for PR, so PR, vector PR will be equal to vector PQ, then I'll move from PQ to QR, which is QR. So always make sure that what ends here will be what starts here. So you have common alphabets in the middle. So PR is equal to PQ plus QR. Now we're given PQ, so I need PQ. Here I was given RQ, but I need QR. My QR will be equal to negative of my RQ, which is a vector. QR will be equal to negative, I was given negative 5, negative 8. So it will be negative of negative 5, negative 8. So my QR is equal to 5, negative, negative 5, negative, negative 8. So this is 8. My PR will be equal to PQ. Where's PQ? This is PQ. PQ was given to be negative 1, 3 plus my QR. My QR, which is now 5, 8. So I'm adding. I'll get negative 1 plus 5, and this will be 3 plus 8, which is this. Now, negative 1 plus 5 will be 4. 3 plus 8 will be 11. And that is my final answer, like this. Vector AB is equal to negative 1, negative 3, and vector BC is equal to negative 2, 4. Find vector AC. So my solution. I'll draw my diagram. I have this for AB with my arrow. Then I'll need BC with the arrow, and my third side will be this. So that would be this. Now I'm looking for AC. I'm looking for AC. So AC, vector AC will be equal to what? AC. So you start from A. AB. So AB. Vector AB plus vector BC. So AB BC is the same as AC. Vector BC, like this. So you come and check. Were you giving AB? Giving me AB, so fine, I'll use it. Was I giving BC? Yes, I was giving BC. So this is more easier. Vector AB was given to be -1, -3, and I'll add it to vector BC, which is -2 and 4. -2 and 4. So I add. This will be -1 plus -2. When plus and negative meet, it becomes negative. So this will be -2. And I have -3 for this one plus 4. And I close the bracket. Now this will be equal to -1 minus 2 will be -3. And -3 plus 4 will be 1. And this is my final answer. Vector xy is equal to -2, -4, and vector zy is equal to -3, 2. Find xz. Find vector xz. Solution. I draw, this is this. I draw the triangle. Then I join the third side like this. So I have xy, so I have vector x, vector y moving in this direction. Xy, so here will be yz, so z will be here, so yz, and I need xz like this. Now I'm looking for xz. Vector xz will be equal to vector xy, vector xy plus vector yz, vector yz. Okay, so you come and check. Were you giving xy? Yes, I was giving xy. Were you giving yz? No, you were not giving yz, but you're giving zy. So the yz will be the negative of the zy. So my xz will be equal to xy. My xy was given to be -2, -4 plus because I was giving zy instead of yz, I'll just put a negative in front of the zy. So -3 and 2. This will be equal to -2, -4 plus negative times negative will give you positive. So this is 3. Negative times +2. This will be 2. So I'll come and add. -2 plus 3 will give you 1. -4 plus 2 will give you -2. And this is your final answer. With well-labeled diagrams, find the resultant of the following vectors using the triangular law. The first one, number 1, AB is equal to 2, 3, and BC is equal to 5, 7. Number 2, x, y is equal to -2, -4, and zy is equal to -3 and 2. This one you are finding BC, and this one you are finding x, z.